RoBs Inferno while it burns slow. Goddesses know high vibrational hearing beings. You know what the fuck it is, man. I hope everybody Gucci and whatnot. I hope everybody's straight. But keep the family real quick, bro. So yeah, y'all, where we at? I hope y'all appreciated a lot of the stuff that I touched on earlier, that I was breaking down about like what's taking place on the planet and how these changes affect everybody, how it affects anatomy regardless of your genetic makeup. And even I spoke on some stuff from like a 3D standpoint, and I spoke on some stuff past that. You know, but I just hope that everybody got what I was saying from like the angles in which I was speaking upon, because it's a real thing. But again, I just wanted to get on here just to shout out. I want to shout out like all the guys that speaking truth right now amongst the cognitive dissonance and the Stockholm syndrome with us. You get what I'm saying? As this shift, as our sun separates us, as this shit takes place, you get what I'm saying? These changes that's taking place on the planet, it's a real thing, you know, and it's beautiful. I'm just happy to see that all children are going to be safe. It's crazy that people don't realize how this falls back on all children and how much they try to protect toxicity. It's insane, y'all. People have no idea, but you know what's inevitable is happening. It's a beautiful time right now. There will be nobody feeding on children or taking their energy in any shape, way, or form. You know, physically, you know what I mean, spiritually, mentally, all that's done with. You know, there's going to be no infringed ideologies upon nobody from a species standpoint. You know, it's going to be beautiful. But one thing I want to shout out though is I want to shout out everybody that's trying to be better for themselves. You know, for real, because that's like a real serious thing. You get what I'm saying? I don't feel like we try to do that enough. I feel like, you know, like it's crazy. There's children around me right now, right? My court, I've been alienated from my child since December 7th, 2020, right? My child was an infant when I last seen him. He's like 5 years old now, like 5.5, right? As this closes out and I, you know, have the affidavit and everything and show for the paternity test, going to help me out a lot. But I'm very, very grateful that my family was destroyed and that happened to me, because I wouldn't have came into knowing my genetics how I do now and knowing everything around DNA and really how I do. I wouldn't have stepped into this if I wasn't in the worst level of harm. You know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It was either I was gonna do this and rewire my brain, trans everything, where I come from and how I only really know one way about how to handle betrayal, and I don't play with it. You hear what I'm saying? I really do not play with that, because I take loyalty very serious. My dummy just hit my phone just now, and he said he heard it in my voice. You know what I'm saying? He's like on a flag, man. Everything Gucci, because he already know how I am. You know, like I really don't be playing, but I'm a good person. I got a good heart. You know, and I stand for truth and I stand for children at the end of the day. You know, all children. You know, but. I just want to advise y'all, you know, definitely protect your energy. Do whatever you got to do to make sure that you keep your energy apart. You know, don't tap into stuff that's not good for your growth as far as you evolving, whatever that may look like, wherever it may come from, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm so serious. Hey, shout out Dilbert. You know what I'm saying? That just gave the love real quick. Shout out you. Peace, power, abundance to your family. Gratitude your way, man. Y'all see how the numbers be jumping, like how it just jumped to that, like, and then randomly a 14 popped in and shit. Hey, the numbers, it be jumping crazy with me. I don't even pay attention to because it's just so much how they be trying to stop me and not validate, so I don't speak to y'all. But it's like I always come to y'all though, you know. But yeah, I hope everybody trying to be a good person and stuff. You know, with a lot of these changes, I can't say it enough to protect your energy, because a lot of people are throwing out wild projections out of fear, whether directly or indirectly. It's happening. You know what I mean? And that's people on both sides, regardless of your genetic makeup, prokaryotic cell or eukaryotic cell. This is happening, y'all. You know, but I told y'all the most dangerous beings on the planet right now is somebody of my genetic makeup still trying to hold on to this system as it's crashing, and really what it's about, the foundation that it was built on, and the psychological slavery that we're still in today. You know, the docile state we're in. Like it's really bad, y'all. So, you know, like I said, I'm just grateful. I value y'all. Even my hearing beings that be speaking on real. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's a lot of y'all people with animal DNA that call y'all own species out, and I know that's very hard for y'all to do, because most of y'all, your own species will turn on you when you call them out on their bullshit that they try to hide and try to not take accountability for. But that's why we at where we at right now. It's over for that mindset. I chew that shit up. You know what I'm saying? For real. I cheer that shit up. Like I don't care about none of that. I'm too relentless. I'm too rebellious. I'm too passionate. You know what I'm saying? I'm too caring. I really care about children. So I'm taking whatever come with that shit. You feel me? Jesus Christ loves you so much. You know what I'm saying? He died for you. That's all cool and dandy. But what that got to do with children? Because if you really want me, I don't mean to hurt your feelings or anything. And I come from a Christian household, right? On a whole nother way, right? But why? But how is Jesus just looking down on a planet and knowing what's happening and what's covered up around children and just allowing it to happen, or have been allowing it to happen this far out? You know, what covenant did I break? Did I break with y'all or with Jesus for me to have to? You know, let me know. Oh, you didn't know I was talking about kids? Okay. Well, I apologize for that. Well, yeah, man. It's about children at the end of the day. A lot of the damage that's being done to children, we could go about in a different manner, dealing with them. You know, here our children are subjugated to go about everything in a different manner just by awareness. You know what I'm saying? And we choose to be ignorant even when awareness presents itself to us. You feel me? And we act like we don't. But it's going to be consequences behind that. But I'm just telling y'all, if you really care about children, stand for children. Because it's a lot that you can do to bring to your forefront what's happening with them. You know? Bro, it's like I'm not even going to I'm going to be honest. If you're going to be on here and you're going to be talking that Jesus shit to me, I'm just going to block you right now. I'm going to be honest with you because we so past that, bro. We so past that right now. The religion, we're not arguing about religion no more. We're not arguing about difference in DNA no more. Who has animal DNA, who doesn't. I'm not talking to you around. I don't care about none of that, bro. I'm not looking for anything outside of myself, bro. I'm the son in the flesh. What you know of as Jesus or God, I come from that, bro. I come from the black woman. I come from the mother of all life. She's the closest thing to God as you know it. You know? Best believe, best know that. And her body is made so. That's why mine is made. You know, I'm a mutation of her. You get what I'm saying? I'm not shocked that you said that, and you're not black, bro. You get what I'm saying? You're neuromelanated, but you're not black. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not even mad at you or anything for saying that, because religion. I'm telling y'all, the three things that's the most detriment to our species, right? Money and time. You get what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all, and that time is serious. You worried about that time more than anything. You worried about that religion more than anything. A lot of people that impose religion on people, they don't even know how they was using. They don't even know how they was using religion to instill a fear in us. Like before, when religion first even started with that, how that shit came about. You know what I'm saying? It was burning crosses in the backyard. Like, if you don't go about this, we taking you out. Life or death, you choose. You feel me? That shit goes so deep, but. You know, a lot of people talk about the scriptures, you know, but then the scriptures that show the genocide in which we're living in, they want to be like this about. You get what I'm saying? They want to be like this about, you know? It's all good. And I appreciate you preaching it, but I'm not on that. So please stop. You get what I'm saying? If I'm going to be praying to anything, I'll probably pray to that son. I'll tell you that. Because I'll tell you, it's not a lot of scribes and stuff about Jesus and stuff like that, but it's definitely a lot about that son. And not even a mirror, but it's that sun though. You get what I'm saying? You look at all them Egyptian pictures, all you're gonna see is about that. You're gonna see everything about that sun. Why? Because I am the sun in the flesh, literally. Everything that's in that sun is in my anatomy, you know? I emit everything that's in that sun, and I absorb it also. You know? I convert sunlight into chemical energy, and you should know that too. Called black. And if you not really know what that means, bro, you get what I'm saying? Because best believe They not manipulating us around the level with Jesus the way they are around genetics, bro. You know, off of our lack of awareness, how it all falls down to that. You feel me? You got to really know who you are, man. One of the biggest ways that they got it conquered, that to divide us off us being conquered, was having us praise beings outside of ourselves. Or I'm gonna say it like this so you really understand what I'm saying. Have us look outside of ourselves in general. Even us speaking. Communicate, bro. We literally didn't speak at all. As soon as we started speaking, we started lowering our vibration, bro. You know? For real. But back to what I was talking about though. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, all my neuromelanated beings, it's a beautiful time right now. This is something that nobody can stop. That ozone layer isn't coming back. It's not coming back. You know what I mean? That the radiation is just gonna intensify. You know, Mother Nature, the earthquakes, the fires, the floods, just going to intensify because everybody is living off of us, and off of us divided and talking about stuff that doesn't matter, while nothing is more important than what's happening with our children. You know, oh, it's simple. It's no in between with that, y'all. It's no in between. You know, people are literally benefiting off the genocide in which this foundation was built on, and we out here talking about stuff that doesn't even matter. You notice how I'm gonna say one more thing about that Jesus thing. You notice how whenever, you know, I can talk to Jesus to everybody, right? There's certain things that say certain things, y'all. I can talk to Jesus about with anybody about Jesus. I can't talk to anybody about genetics though. You know what I'm saying? Even people that know genetics, if I have conversations with them about genetics, me being who I am, they want to run a conversation. They don't even. I got questions that they don't have no answers for. You feel me? And I know why it's no answers for. You feel me? Like, I'm dead ass, y'all. You know? I'm telling y'all. You know, it's beautiful. I'm sorry I'm offending y'all, but that's what I'm supposed to do, you know? I didn't come here to be your best friend. I came here to speak truth and to talk about this sun and to talk about the changes that's taking place on the planet as far as from a consequence stance because of how we've been living and how it's been justified for the lower bit time that is deemed as regular reality and what we're supposed to be doing, what we're supposed to be capitulating in. Y'all crazy. Fuck anything that y'all talking about why our children are subjugated to the complex cell organism when they fed our children to crocodiles. Like, really, I don't give a fuck what any of y'all gotta say. On my soul. Y'all sound crazy as shit. I'm the wrong one. Y'all sound crazy as shit. You know the experimentations that was done on us in the 1600s and the 1700s. You know how our children, our infants was fed to crocodiles like as a game. You get what I'm saying? I know it hurt and it offends people. I know it hurt, but I don't give a fuck. Y'all crazy as shit. And they still doing experimentations on us today. What do you think that is when your so-called black daughter get a physical? I know we all remember physicals, right? Remember how you had to get it for sports and shit? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember how you had to get it for sports? Yeah, you had to get it for sports. They touching on us, you know? But it, like for people that just came in here, for people that just came in here, let me let y'all know. My name is RoBs Inferno while it burns slow, right? Let me let y'all know. I'm from Baltimore City, right? I'm from like the craziest city in America, right? And this isn't for me to act hard or nothing like that because I'm humble as shit. I don't even think like that. I don't even go around starting trouble with people. I respect people. I actually do the opposite. You know, I'm actually always trying to help people and shit, right? But I don't settle for like what I feel passionate about, and somehow it happens to be a lot of righteous stuff. You feel me? I wouldn't do that for nobody. You know, I wouldn't. I guess in that way you could say I'm a true Aquarius. I am Aquarius. You know, February 3rd. You know, I was supposed to be born on Bob Marley's birthday though, but February 3rd. I'm a true Aquarius. Like, so I don't mind being alone. I don't need validation for what I know because I already do my own research and did stuff to make sure what I'm bringing to y'all that is true. You get what I'm saying? I already been talking to these doctors. I already been talking to these surgeons. You know what I mean? I already did all of that. I already got the reactions and saw what it was when I just brought up certain terminology without even elaborating on it. I seen it all. I already tested it. You know? For real. So maybe y'all need to get some genetics books. You can get a genetics for dummies. You know, there's different versions. You can get into neuroscience, chemistry, right? And you can learn some of these things and see how your brain is affected, so you know what you're really living in. You know. But like I said, I know most people have undeveloped brains. I know. Due to the food y'all eat. I know. I already. Eating sugar all the time. I already know. I barely eat as it is. You know what I mean? Like the worst thing that I do eat that's bad probably is oatmeal. And I eat plain oatmeal. And I wouldn't even say that, but like I'm just saying, like I'm being real with y'all. I don't be fucking with that sugar shit. You know, I don't have sugar crushes and stuff like that. I don't do that. You know? Before y'all question me, go to any medical practice and ask them why after shots they're giving your children candy and lollipops, knowing what sugar does to your immune system. Your bone marrow. Ask them that and watch how they look at you. You know, watch how they look at you. You need to be more aware of how your children are being handled. You you know. But I'm mainly talking to us though, because it's like I'm mainly talking to us, because it's bad. It's bad, you know. Any questions that y'all can ask me, y'all can really find them in these books. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, I'm no scholar, you know what I mean? I'm still learning and that's why it offends so much people, you know? That's why so much people get triggered and shit, because of how real it is. But put it like this: what Mother Nature is doing, what my son is doing right now, my son don't care about nobody's personal feelings, even mine. And I come from the black woman, right? But that sun that's in the sky right now, you see that? I don't care about none of that, y'all. All that sun is looking at you right now, and it's scanning your DNA, like your natural or unnatural, biological connection or no biological connection. You know, of the sun in the flesh. No, you know what I'm saying? For real, like it's flat out. There's no in between right now. You know, the sun isn't looking at you and being like, oh, you got animal DNA, but you're a nice person with animal DNA, and or you have a baby with a neuromelanated being, so you get a pass. You know, no, the sun ain't doing none of that. You know, it's crazy because the lie is being kept from y'all so much, but literally while the complications are getting worse. You see yous out here looking like tomatoes, and I'm saying that respectfully. I got white friends, I got inorganic friends, I got friends with animal DNA, a lot of unnatural friends, but they understand what I'm talking about is the truth, and they tell me all the time. They be like, man, the main thing that they say to me all the time, they be like, man, my species is so they run from everything, and I just wish they wasn't like that. They dodge accountability no matter how much. And he said, what does that sound like? He said, what does that sound like to you? And I told him, I said, it sounds like a narcissist, right? Everybody knows what a narcissist is, right? From like a relationship, but ain't it something? All that same stuff that happens to you, how you get you'll get gaslit, the love bombing, the breadcrumbing, right? You know, even the discard. You can look at the discard when we go to the modern day plantation, you know. Or you can look at the discard and just how you're affected and not being aware, but it's still being presented to you constantly, you know, while you're just taking it and not even knowing how it's affecting you, right? Nah, that's insane, y'all. But I just hope everybody trying to figure this out, you know. Like that's all I hope, you know, because it is bad, y'all. It is. Trust me, if I didn't care about children, and even more so if I wasn't alienated from my child off of this genocidal system, right? This genocidal judicial system that's filled with nothing but me and Latinos in there, melanated and you melanated beings, right? Maybe I wouldn't feel how I feel. But you know how they say something you can't unsee it, like you can't see it any different, right? It's like one of them things, you know? It's one of them things. You know, it's so crazy because I say all the time, like, the educational system is so bad. Even white people, y'all, even white people, any of y'all with animal DNA, even if not Europeans, Asians, Arabs, anybody else with animal DNA of that species, y'all shouldn't even be allowing y'all children to be like educational system. You should have all control of growth and development. Have all control of that. You know what I mean? For real. If it's anything that you should be on the same accord with how you're raising your child, it should be from like a species standpoint. Your species kind of has an idea of what they're instilling in their child, which is the same thing that's best jointly, right? For like everybody, for like y'all species. That's how organisms work in nature. You know what I'm saying? They do stuff individually, they raise their own. But I guarantee you, everything that they're doing individually is somewhat for their species alone, the betterment of them going forward. You know, and no other animals are infringing their ways on another animal, and they all live amongst each other in nature. None of them are forcing their ideology. Like, no, you're not gonna see an elephant go to a lion and be like, lion, I want you to live like an elephant. It then forced the lion to live like an elephant. And when they're not good at living like that in that way, because that has nothing to do with them, they're looked at even by their own. The other lions are looked at by their own lions because of the division of them trying to live like an elephant. You're not seeing no shit like that, you know? And y'all notice how the worst level from a psychological standpoint, right? Isn't it something how the educational system is enforced? How they'll lock you up and take you to jail if you don't allow for your children in so-called America to be educated by the educational system? Ain't that something? You know what I'm saying? It's all right in your face, you know? And slavery never stopped. It never did. You know, it's crazy, and it just shows how much it never stopped when you speak about it, how either offended people get, or how much people just aren't aware. Either or, they're both just as bad. They're both just as bad, yo. They're both just as bad, you know? I wasn't even gonna get on here and really chop it up with y'all till later, but something said, you know what, let me just chop it up with y'all. Let me just get on here. Let me just get on here and talk to my people. Let me just get on here and talk to my people, you know? Let me just get on here and talk to my people. But for real though, shout out to human beings though that be speaking against their own from a righteousness standpoint. Shout out y'all. I be fucking with y'all. The white men out here to be calling the species out. Even the white women. Like, it's so much white women on the internet now that's talking about really the injustice with black people, and I love it. I love it because it speaks volumes when it's people not even of our species, the same species that's abusing us. It speaks volumes when it's people of y'all genetic makeup that call out y'all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It speaks volumes for like really what's happening and how bad it is. You know, that literally your own species will call you out on it, and people are still trying to run around and have cognitive dissonance as if like it's not what it is, just because they might have thought that there was nothing wrong with how life was set up, how everybody was what we've been born into, you know? That's really the main reason why everybody acting out for real, regardless of genetic makeup, because it's like everything that's coming out makes you question reality, because it goes against everything that you've ever known. You know what I'm saying? Even the time not being real, your birthday, the Gregorian calendar, right? The money, the monetary system, you know, the fact that we're all not one human race, like how it was said. So it's not all about love, because if it's all about love, it's about truth, right? Truth. Love doesn't manipulate, right? You know, it's a lot of contradictions and stuff that's coming out right now that's a hard pill for everybody to swallow. But I'm just happy it's coming out, because it needs to come out, you know? It's definitely well needed. You know, and to be honest with y'all, I wasn't even gonna get on here and talk, but I'm gonna be honest, I got triggered because it was a group of unnatural people that was on here just now, and when they was on here, y'all know that little fake cough that they do when they're offended when they see a black person. You know what I'm saying? She started doing. Y'all might have maybe even heard it when I was speaking. Y'all might have heard the coughing and shit when I was saying certain stuff and shit. That's why I'm like, all right, since you want to act like that, then I'm gonna turn up and talk about some stuff in front of y'all then. For real. Because I'm not playing with nobody, y'all. I'm not playing. Like, I'm not playing. Like, I don't. It's not me being tough for anything, you know. The fact that, like, even that person, I'm about to block him. Just me reading about it. So I just read this just now. The fact that said I got questions, people have no answers for that, ain't tough. The fact that you think that I'm tough off of me speaking about this, that lets me know where your intellect is at. You know, that lets me know right there. You think that I'm tough because I'm trying to act like I'm tough because I'm speaking passionately about something that people besides myself of our own kind are aware about. You know, so I guess everybody that's speaking on this and passionately, we all think we're tough, huh? Because we in a good state and what we're saying isn't truth, so it's not happening to us. We just think we're tough because we just want to be tough and speak about it, just because. And I'm telling y'all, like, people like you are the reason why I say that I'm happy that the sun is separating us right now, and I'm happy because I told y'all the most dangerous people are going to be the people that can't see the genocide in which we're living in, and people that still want to live this lifestyle, you know? Because it's basically saying the same thing. You know? So I value y'all, man. I'm going to tap in with y'all. So here points of Robs and